The wild child, the misunderstood individual, alien, black sheep. Let's talk about her. She doesn't get enough credit. She doesn't get enough airtime. So I think today I want to talk to you about being comfortable, being misunderstood, understanding being misunderstood, the value and the quality and the purpose of the wild child. I myself am one. And so if you identify as someone who has always been the odd one out, who's always been the one who feels uncomfortable in general crowds, the one who always stands out, who gets a lot of eyes on her, someone who was always made to feel strange as a child for not conforming, right? Someone who, what do I have written down here? Someone who was always told that she was too much. There's purpose in that, and there's beauty in that, and there's a specific archetype that serves its purpose when you identify as a wild child. And I was excited to come and talk about this after watching the new Lord of the Rings animated feature called, what is it called? The War of, I wrote it down, The War of the Rohirrim. Yeah, it was a good picture. I liked it. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about why that inspired me. I'm going to gut this piece of aloe that I found out in the garden. I love gutting aloe. It's a very wild child's activity. I think of a wild child as being someone who is connected to the wild, to nature, to things that are bigger than our individual selves. We just naturally attune to the way the earth and the wind and the rivers are all connected and communicating with us all the time. Someone who probably loved to play outdoors as a kid and find what you find and see what you see. And so I found this piece of aloe. I asked the plant before taking from it and gave a little offering to be able to take this for my needs. All you need is a knife and a spoon. And if you've never done this before, welcome. Here's your sign to try it out. And so, okay, when I was watching The War of Rohirrim, it's about a woman who ends up being the savior, spoiler alert, at the end of the film. But in the beginning, everyone was always wondering why she wouldn't act the way she was expected to act. And I think many of us can relate to that. Many of us can relate to the world telling you that you should be one way, but in your heart of hearts, you know that your purpose is beyond what you're being told to be. And so, a wild child, the main character, what was her name? She had beautiful red hair. She always rode horses, and she was the fastest rider in her village. She was always outside. And when it came down to it, she was the one that people turned to save them all. And that's the beauty of being the odd one out, is you may not be able to see the purpose of that when you are maybe going through your mundane daily tasks. But when it comes down to it, you have unique talents that are going to be just what people need at the right time. And so in the movie, people needed her to get on her wild horse and ride really fast and think of ways that no one else could think of think of things in ways that no one else could think of to be able to save them. Think outside of the box. The wild child is always thinking outside of the box. She's always thinking, what's next? What's more? What's beyond what I can see here? And that's such a beautiful thing to be able to see beyond what other people can see, beyond the normal, beyond the basic. That's exciting. But society, or I guess if you try to fit into a system and a society and a group of people who do not honor your uniqueness, you'll feel the pain of that. You'll feel the mismatch, the misalignment when you realize that you're not in the right place, that you're not being valued for your wildness, that you're not being valued for being unique, for being someone who has a special set of eyes and senses. The places that a wild child can thrive is where other people can see that and other people celebrate that and other people rejoice in your beingness. They say, oh, here comes that girl. She's going to teach us something. That's where you want to be. I love the gooiness that happens. It's the most fun part. And it's quite meditative to just sit and scrape the juicy fruits of nature. I use aloe for almost everything on my skin, as a mask, in my hair. You can put it in your smoothies, you can drink it, you can definitely use it. The most common way that people use it is on their skin after being in the sun. And I'm here in the Dominican in the sun all the time. And so I make sure I have a good stock of aloe with me at all times. I'm going a little slower now because I'm talking to you at the same time. But if I were on my own, I would just be digging and scraping and really getting that down and dirty. But such is the life of a wild child. If you identify as someone who has always been misunderstood in some way, you are someone who really dreads family events, large family gatherings, because a lot of times you don't relate to the common collective choice of conversation. And you end up saying something that makes the room go, and it makes you feel like you just don't belong in some way. And that's okay. When that happens, we have to come to a point where we're okay with everything that happens. So when it occurs to you that your knowledge and your insight and your way of being is not honored and it doesn't really feel like you fit in, all of that is just information. It's just contrast. And the contrast is our teacher. The contrast helps us to see what we don't want so we can get closer to what we do want. So when you can become aware and notice these moments when they happen, talk about awareness a lot here. Like you can't change what you're not aware of. So if you are able to become aware that your wild essence is being contained, you can't kick your legs, you can't be creative and fly and play and tumble and feel safe in doing that, then it's time to change scenes. It's time to change locations. It's time to change the people you are mirroring and leave. It's the simplest way. A lot of times we feel a sense of responsibility to people we are in association with, either by work or family members or whatever the situation is. But I will stress till the end of my days that the truth of everything comes down to the fact that you get to choose. It's a beautiful thing. You get to choose who you spend your time with. You get to choose how you spend your time. You get to choose your environments. A lot of times it may be more challenging than you will have expected, but it's not impossible. You just have to decide. Yeah, baby. It's dripping down my wrists, so I'm gonna have to roll my sleeves up for this. Super erotic, and I love it. Drip, drip. Okay. So, when I get it on my fingers, I just kind of aloe. It might be itchy at first, but I don't know, I like the sensation. It's like the sensation giving me the signal that it's working. It's cleansing something. Aloe is really good to put in the roots of your hair when you want to cleanse it. Just give it a light cleanser. It also helps with elasticity and strength. So I wanted to talk about the fact that the wild child, the wild woman, the wild man archetype is an important member of society in that these are the people we flock to when we're in need. They're the people who you always see in movies who are able to figure things out when things get really tough. They are connected to so much and they're able to find solutions that no one else maybe could have thought of. They see some plant that could be a healing plant. They see how to survive in the wilderness, in those apocalyptic situations or in situations where people need immediate help. People who are able to step up and be wild when it's time, when people need someone to be wild. It's helpful. So all that to say, don't ever feel as though being a wild person, being an eclectic individual is probably a word that you have heard yourself being referred to once before. I remember someone called me behind my back. I learned from someone else that they called me feral. And that was the first time I ever heard that. Someone calling me feral. I didn't take offense to it. I was wondering, it's almost one of those things where you don't really know what people think about you until you hear it from someone else, or you can just really tap in and read their mind. But when I heard that this person called me that, I was just like, oh, okay, cool. I can be that. I think I'll do that. But also knowing in that moment that maybe I was not meant to be as close with that person as I would be with someone else, because it was being used in the context of saying in like a negative way, like, oh, that girl is a feral. In my mind I was like, I guess so, yeah. also, I'm glad you can see that. Stay away. um, yeah, being called that, being called many, many names, if you're ever called something that has a negative connotation, like the odd one out, the black sheep, the witch, the weird one, that you have a special, special purpose that is unique and is needed. And you may not know when or how, but the moments will come and you will have that knowing, that wild knowing that comes from the wilderness of all that is, that will tell you, send you a little whisper that your time has come. Maybe you've already found a career that honors you. What's the word I'm looking for? Because I want to say another word that also means wildness. Maybe you've already found a place in your life, a friend group, a routine in your life that allows you to express your uniqueness. That allows you to express it by taking these amazing journeys around the world to climb these crazy mountains that other people would look at and say, hell no. You know, actually, physically, and metaphorically, I suppose. You're the one who dares to live. You're the one who dares to climb, who dares to jump, who dares to create, who dares to ask questions. Oof, that's a big one. You were probably someone who asked questions a lot as a child and got burned for it, but as an adult, you realize that asking the proper questions gets you the answers that you need to make informed decisions in your life that feel in alignment for you in all of your wild glory. Being curious about everything, being curious about life, being curious about people, about plants, about animals, whatever subject you've chosen to be passionate about, and really being wild in the way you approach everything, in the way that you open your heart to life, in the way that you open your mind to expanding and learning new things and being excited about life, being in awe of life, and really taking it by the reins. I don't know, I wouldn't want to live any other way. I would not want to live any other way than being surprised by life every single day, because it's not normal to think that way. It's sad, but it's not normal to think that life is full of magic and every day you can experience a miracle, and the wilderness is another home because you are nature, so nature is your home, nature is your teacher. All of these things that I think the wild child archetype inherently understands. It's beautiful. So if you resonate with that, if you also think that way, what you're doing is beautiful. And hold on to it. Learn even more. Be even more curious. Be even more exploratory. Be even more disruptive. Break all of the chains that have bound you and your ancestors for hundreds of years. Things that you have come to this earth, your soul has chosen to rewrite the story through the way that you live, in the way that is considered wild and untamed. Keep doing that. Keep making people uncomfortable. It's the only way. If you dim your light, you dim your gifts, and you dim your talents. And when it's time for you to really use them and save the world and be the one savior in a war when everyone is depending on some sort of miracle to happen, you will ignite that miracle. You will be that miracle. It'll be your time to step up and be wild. If you already have, if you have already created a life where you're able to express that every day, that is beautiful. People that I can relate to who are world travelers, who are adventurers, extreme sports, doesn't even have to be extreme. Just being someone who has found a way to connect, being someone who has found a way to express. If you haven't found a way to do it every day, I would encourage you to try a little, because when you don't express the gifts you are given to be larger than life itself, to be extra colorful, to be, what would they would call them, like an ethereal creature, a fairy, an alien, someone who has come here to break the pattern, to disrupt the sense of normalcy that we experience every day. If you know, your heart will sing it to you. If you identify as a wild child, even if you've been suppressing it, it will always be there. These little whispers in the wind, these little moments that you have that sing to you and let you know that you are not as alone as you think, that you are gifted with sight, with hearing, with knowing, with feeling, and if you can really tune into that and strengthen it and acknowledge it every single day, it gets louder, more potent, and life becomes more potent and juicy and amazing and even more just more. You just get more. Look how it came out. I think I chose a bigger jar than I needed, but I think that looks really good. I'll find different places to put it. I put it in my hair oil. I'll leave it raw for when I need it raw. You can use it for just about everything. Because aloe, I believe it has special binding properties that are like really great, potent medicine for the skin. Which is why if you do have extreme sunburn, what did I say? Sunburn. If you know, you know. Words are wordy. But that's why when you have sunburn and you use fresh aloe, it is a godsend. One of the plants that I'm just so amazed by is the slippery nature that you can get to cooperate with your skin when it needs it, in your hair, in your eyebrows, and wherever. And so, I hope that this was helpful in just letting someone out there know that if you identify as someone who is rare, is often misunderstood, and wants to understand being misunderstood and the beauty of that, I hope that this is helpful to be your reminder. So you can go out into the world and kill it. And kill it. And be someone who holds their head up high and has that je ne sais quoi. You know the people who walk around and they have this air about them where you just want to know who they are. You're just like, who is that? They just have a mysterious essence, almost as though there's something boiling and cooking inside of them, and their aura is just radiating powerful waves. You don't even have to say anything. Let that be you. In all your amazing glory. I am gonna go pack up. I'm mostly packed today. I'm leaving this beautiful accommodation that I've been in, and I am happy that I got to come and talk to you from this sunroom because I have enjoyed it so much. I have been spending lots and lots of time out here because it's nice. Sunrooms are nice when you get to be in the trees, but not necessarily in the trees. A little protection. We love that. We love it so much. The vegetation here in the Dominican is there is a word, but I'm not able to find it right now just because it's the word I'm searching for is more grand than what I want to use presently. But I'm so glad that we spent this time together. I'm happy that I got to show you a nice view and perhaps teach you a new skill, how easy that was. This will probably last me, well, I use aloe all the time, so this will probably last me a couple of weeks, to be honest. And then I'll just find a new aloe plant because it grows in abundance here. And that is really exciting, and I'm really grateful. Many of the plants grow here. It's like they're doing this. They grow on the side of the road and in people's gardens and in the fields as you walk by a random place, and you just have to stop and say, ooh, did I bring my hair scissors? Can I make a little snip of this herb? Or is it just me? I know it's not just me. I know someone out there is like, yes, oh my god, I do that too. Okay, great. Until next time, I gotta get out of here. We have a time limit, and I'm happy that I got to come here once again. Stay tuned for more talks. Please drop in the comments if there's something specific you want to know as we go along, talking more about life and how to do it in the best way. Until next time.